Okay. Let's talk about the DEI narrative before we move on. Because I got some other stuff. We're going to talk about Israel Palestine as well. Wait, oh shit. They were on the docket, but they're cleared from this. Oh no, never mind. Macy has changed the lineup. Okay. There's some fucking crazy ass shit happening in Israel. They're protesting outside of a concentration camp. Here, a little spoiler for you guys. They're protesting outside of a concentration camp, Sde Teiman, the one that was famously written about extensively in the New York Times. They're protesting for the rights of Israeli concentration camp guards to rape Palestinians. Now, when I say it like this, okay, when I say those words in that order, you think there is no fucking way. No, that is exactly what's going on. You need to understand. They're not protesting outside the concentration camp to be like, you need to, surely you are being inflammatory is obviously what you think, right? What any normal person would think. Okay, CNN covered it. Yeah, Sde Teiman, we talked about it before, strapped down, blindfolded, held in diapers, and also anally raped by a metal rod. So much so that the person had to be hospitalized. Yeah, they're currently doing a January 6th style fucking hog riot. Armed militias are claiming to have taken over the military course. This was at 11 this morning. Israel's going through a January 6th like moment. We'll talk more about it as well. I'm not being inflammatory at all. We're going to talk about John Oliver covering Israel and calling what Israel's doing a genocide and how we got here. But before we do that, let's wrap this up with the DEI narrative.
I heard the phrase DEI recently. It's the right's new descriptor for Kamala Harris.
DEI got us Kamala Harris as a vice president.
She is a DEI candidate.
She has proven to America why DEI doesn't work.
Now, this kind of talk is nothing new for the vice president. Throughout Harris's career, she's been accused of sleeping her way to the top, playing the race card, and lacking qualifications because of her race and gender. She even has her own birther conspiracy theory. But while those attacks might play well on Fox News or Steven Crowder's show,
she's like a biracial werewolf. Just
I've noticed she started wearing straightening.
That kind of overt racism is a bit much for a general election. So instead, right-wingers have taken to spamming their new favorite acronym when talking about Harris.
People get mad when you say Harris.
Well, let's be real. Some Republicans have dialed it back a little bit and saying DEI. Others, of course, are doing this. Steven Crowder fell off after beating his pregnant wife. Now he's posting this shit. Cringe. Kamala cosplays as a black candidate. I wish I could say that this is a new direction of racism for Steven Crowder. But it's pretty normal Steven Crowder stuff. Typical. How are his numbers nowadays? I don't know. I can't count that low. I forgot. He has fallen off so abysmally, so spectacularly. And we'll talk about that in a second.
Is the hood ornament of DEI.
Just wanted to show you where he's at, though.
Kamala's in the White House is because of the DEI deal Biden cut with Bernie to seal the nomination.
She very well might be the first DEI president.
Now, even with the euphemism, Republicans know this isn't a winning message. In fact, GOP leadership told lawmakers to stop making race comments about Harris. But even if they stopped calling her a DEI vice president today, the label has stuck in the current lexicon. And whether you heard it from Newsmax, Ted Cruz, or your boomer uncle, the implication is the same. DEI is black, or gay, or feminine, or disabled, or poor.
This woman who is literally a DEI hire.
The point is, DEI is the right's latest dog whistle, the alphabetical successor to CRT, ESG, and SJW. When said to the right audience, DEI means replacing white men with black women, hardworking farmers with communist drag queens. It's probably gonna make your kid gay, or at least a Chappell Roan fan. DEI is everything your estranged father is terrified of, but with a corporate-sounding label so he can say it in public.
What does that sound like? The witch trials.
Dude, Buttfeld needs to stop trying to drip out. Okay? You're not. It's not working. Stop. Stop trying to be drippy, dog.
Except they replaced drowning with racial justice. You die by DEI either way.
Earlier this month, I talked about how the right would struggle if Kamala Harris ran for president. So this week for Mother Jones, I'm going to dive into what DEI actually is, its real definition, what it means to Republicans, and how it's evolved from previous dog whistles. In reality, DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It often refers to inclusion policies, like the ones you'd see at companies or at a school. These can relate to someone's gender, age, sexual orientation, disability status, and a ton of other personal identifiers, i.e. diversity. The goal of this idea is to create an equitable playing field by accounting for institutional discrimination and disadvantage to give everyone the same chance at opportunity. Of course, this would include every person. Affirmative action was one of the first DEI-type policies. Title IX could also fall into this category. So while the term DEI is more recent, the idea is not. Simply put, don't discriminate against someone's race, gender, sexual orientation, or whatever else it would be dickish to hate. So that's what DEI originally meant, or at least what it was supposed to mean. But now it's in the hands of right-wing assholes. So like Pepe the Frog, fedoras, and the OK symbol, these losers have perverted another innocuous thing. Now to people like Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk, here's what DEI means. Woke society has prioritized skin color and sexual orientation over actual skills. This means a lot of jobs are being filled by incompetent candidates, who are somehow always prioritized over straight white men. Funny how that works. Oh, you have a black surgeon? Yeah, you'll probably die on the table. A woman is piloting your flight? I mean, I'd be worried. Oh, and if your law school just fell in the rankings, remember, it's the gays' fault. The really convenient part about all of this is you can apply it to anything, for any reason, without any proof.
That's why it works so perfectly. They did it, bro. They did this with Boeing. Like, Boeing plane doors were fucking flying off. They were like, oh, it must be a gay black pilot that fucking dropped the plane. It's like, no, man. No, the door blew off. Like, how are you saying it's a woman black pilot and that's their fault? We never punish people for hitting that line, by the way, which is odd. Like, the very same supposedly centrist drama farming fucking losers that routinely try to farm hatred off of my coverage over Israel-Palestine, despite not having any singular opinion on the matter beyond like Hasan's coverage is bad. He lies all the time, like farming fucking these like insane videos off of it. I don't hear them ever fucking covering this shit. And the worst part is I wasn't even wrong on my coverage with Israel-Palestine. As a matter of fact, every single thing I said was correct. And I've been vindicated into oblivion. Odd stuff overall. Israel's foreign minister is calling on NATO to expel Turkey. Who the fuck are you, bro? Who the fuck are you? What do you mean? Bro, you can't be outside the club. You can't be hating from outside the club. You're not in the club. Fuck you mean? Anyway, let's continue.
Especially the bad stuff. Let's just say, totally hypothetical, a ship crashed into a bridge in a major American city, tragically killing 6 and destroying a major route for highway and maritime traffic. Let's just say that happened. Sure, maybe it was because there was an electrical problem with the boat, so it couldn't stop. But what if we just blamed it on DEI instead?
It's time
Wouldn't
for
that be
autumn
so
in
much easier?
Palestine.
A train derails. DEI. Crypto bros crash a bank. DEI. Boeing spends years prioritizing profits over passenger safety. DEI. But this tactic is nothing new. Remember 3 years ago when CRT was all the rage? Or 2 years ago when it was ESG? And grooming was pretty big last year. All of those words are synonyms for everything the right hates. They're dog whistles, or phrases that mean something different depending on who's listening to them. You hear DEI and you probably think of your job's HR department. But for your QAnon uncle, DEI is an activation phrase to send the most unhinged memes in the family group chat.
You die by DEI either way.
The right loves to use dog whistles, especially as society advances and becomes more inclusive and less.
I love that there's like a gaming version of this too, the ESG stuff, or what was it, Baby Mama Gaming or whatever? The one that like Asmongold has covered before and that fucking lolly YouTuber loves, that lolly VTuber. I talked about Sweet Baby Inc., Grums, all those fucking charlatans on the right. Baby Mama Gaming Lamau. I'm sorry, bro. I like, excuse me for not remembering what fucking flavor of the month the right is like getting fake mad at. You know what I mean? But yeah, their version is the ESG shit. They're like, yeah, BlackRock is making games gay. How do you know so much about lolly creators? Bitch, you think I want to know? Blah, blah, Hassan is right. Blah, blah, blah. I can objectively predict the future. God, we get it. You're a loser. Are you okay, chatter? This is a not Joe Biden spy. I'm joking. Chatter got bored. 33 months. I haven't responded to them. Anyway, where the fuck were we? Let's finish off this DEI video.
Welcoming to bigotry. A really good example of this is Richard Nixon's Southern strategy. Republican strategist Lee Atwater once explained that by 1968, using the N-word on the campaign trail would actually hurt you for the first time in, the history of the country. So instead of having a less racist agenda, Republicans just had to use more abstract terms, like states' rights and forced busing. They weren't saying the slur, but they still got the message across to their supporters. These phrases have evolved over time. Welfare queens, globalist elites, Barack Hussein Obama, but they all evoke the same feeling, a hostility towards an other. And DEI is just the latest addition to this long, shitty trend. Because sure, you can hold 6 elected offices. You can have an entire law career before that. You can even be the vice president of the United States. But if you just add those 3 little letters, DEI, it is instantly invalidated by the assertion that every single one of your accomplishments is because of how society treats your race and gender, rather than despite it. I'm working with Mother Jones this election, creating weekly video content.